Hi, this morning I was reading an article in the print magazine about Sati. And if you haven't heard the term Sati before, it's the practice where a woman would immolate herself, that is, offer herself to the fire upon the death of their husbands. Now, this is what they teach us in history, normally the NCERT, and this is what is propagated normally in the mainstream media. But however, there is a different story to Sati, which Dr. Meenakshi Jain, she's a historian whom the Nehruvian establishment had not given an opportunity to teach, to because the principles that Nehruvian establishment stood for, these were uncomfortable truths which would kind of be against the narrative that the Nehruvian establishment wanted to push. So, if you were to read Dr. Meenakshi Jain or listen to her talks, she has done a great deal of work on this topic of sati. And she says that this practice was limited, firstly, it was not a practice that was carried out throughout India, that is pan India. And secondly, it happened in a particular context, in a particular region. Now, which were these regions? These were the northwestern parts of India. And if you were to consider the whole Indian subcontinent, then um, you would remember that West Pakistan, Sindh, Balochistan, Sistan, even Gandhar, which is currently Afghanistan, these were all parts of India before. And it were in these regions that the northwestern regions that women had committed sati the most. And there is a reason for that. It is because the Islamic invasions used to happen through these routes. And if they were victorious, or whenever the Islamic invaders were victorious in a particular battle, then they were pretty much allowed, they had religious and scriptural sanction to take women and children as slaves. So, to avoid that, to avoid being enslaved, many Rajput women, aristocratic women, queens, princesses, they would immolate themselves. They would offer themselves, their bodies to the fire, so that nothing would happen to their dead bodies. Because remember, these people were Gauls. These were pretty much barbaric Gauls who wouldn't even leave the dead bodies of women. So, to avoid that, it was to avoid such a fate that these women jumped into the fire and committed sati or immolated themselves. But today, what's being talked about, it's being talked about as if it was some kind of a practice that every Hindu woman would do, which is absolutely false. One must remember the context and the reasons, the historical reasons for this. If you see the southern parts of India or central parts of India, you wouldn't find too many women who would have committed sati in these regions, even eastern parts for that matter. Bengal, maybe, because again, Bengal had been overrun by Islamic invasions at one point. So, wherever you have a footprint of Islamic invasions, you can correspond sati to that. Thank you.